Biden's press conference. Did you guys have a chance to listen to Biden's press conference?
Some of it. I confess I didn't dive in deep.
So, from what you heard, the topics that they had, I'll go to page 6. A part of it was his reelection. I watched the whole thing, and it was pretty interesting seeing what was said, because there was one side that they said he was horrible, and there was one side that said this is the greatest of maybe the GOAT of presidents from what he did. So Biden intends to run for reelection. President Biden, the oldest person to be sworn into office, 78 years old, said he intends to run for re-election. Asked if Vice President Kamala Harris would be on the ticket. He said, I would fully expect that to be the case. She's doing a great job. She's a great partner. Biden said former President Donald Trump has filed for re-election early in his presidency. Had filed for re-election, not has filed for re-election, had filed for re-election early in his presidency because he needed to. Biden also said, oh, God, I miss him, with a laugh. Asked if he expected to run against Donald Trump, who's 74 years old. Biden said, oh, come on, I don't even think about that. I have no idea. Biden then blamed Trump for all the border issues, which he got into, pretty aggressively. I think the COVID topic lasted 2 minutes of the entire thing, meaning media is not even worried about the COVID situation. You have to know that media only asks whatever area you have problems with. So if the media didn't ask any questions about COVID, that means they're over it. Listen, it's good. We're going back 100 million, 200 million, but they spend a lot of time on immigration, okay? Under pressure over the flow of migrants of the southern border, Biden took aim at his predecessor, saying that the President Trump eliminated funding and resources for the border. Biden said, what we're doing now is attempting to rebuild. We're building up the capacity that should have been maintained and built upon, and Trump dismantled it. It's going to take time. Unaccompanied minors are crossing illegally each day in record numbers, with total crossing this year on pace to hit a 2-decade high. Facing growing bipartisan pressure, the administration is ramping up its diplomatic efforts and racing to find more shelter space to house children as it tries to tackle surge of asylum seekers without adopting the aggressive deterrent strategies of previous administrations. So, a couple things were asked, which was interesting. He said, we're about to put 5,000 beds in Fort Bliss for people, the migrant kids that are coming here, people that are coming here from Texas. And then the question was asked by two ladies. One lady says, look, your campaign was around how noble of a man you are and how amazing of a man you are. And do you think more immigrants are coming to America because they're seeing you be more reasonable, and so they're wanting to come to America, versus when Trump was here, they felt like they're going to send their kids back, so they didn't send their kids. Do you see a spike in more parents wanting to send their kids here because you're not sending them back, okay? And his response was interesting. He said, no, I don't see any difference there. He says, and if it was because I'm nice, I don't think people are sending their kids more here because I'm nice. This is an issue that's been going on for quite some time, and it's not something that I have any issues with. Then another lady asked the question, said, a lady from Honduras sent her son, 9-year-old son, to come and cross the border because she felt you, again, wouldn't send him back. You would let him come to America. And that message is coming across where more parents are taking their savings and they're giving to a coyote to bring the kids to America. And he says, no, I'm not. That's not the case either. If they do come, we're going to do our best. And another person asked and said, well, how come we can't see anything? Can we see what's going on? And what's the plan down there? He says, I don't intend to go down there myself because I don't want the attention to be taken off what the people are doing. I don't want to go there with Secret Service, which, Trump would have been there in a heartbeat. And so would have Obama. So would have other people would have been there in a heartbeat. And he says, I'm not intending on going out there. I'm going to send my troops, my people to go out there and see what's going on and come back. Ted Cruz gets on and he gives a speech. He says, never has there been a president, not Obama, not Trump, not Clinton, not Bush, who didn't allow media to go to the borders to see how these kids are being treated. There's a big, spread of COVID right now going on. So Biden's using that as a way of saying, well, we don't want people to go out there because there's a big outbreak. We don't want a lot of the media to get COVID. So we're trying to protect you. Anyways, there was a lot of different things I was talking about, but they were hitting him very strongly on the immigration part. Tom, do you have any thoughts on how immigration is being, the border's being handled right now with Biden versus how it was handled prior to him with Trump.
Yeah, I think it's early in his presidency. His policies haven't really been fully implemented. And the last thing he wants is a bored media down there finding an angle. And I don't think there's much change that's gone down on there. There hasn't been time to. And so he doesn't want the media to go down there because now any kids, remember the terrible thing, we would see kids in basically not little small detention apartments or holding things, but they look like cages. It was terrible. It was terrible. And it started under previous president. I don't think he wants anybody down there, taking pictures because this is now his problem. You're the president. So even if you didn't start it, it becomes your problem and you got to fix it. You got to finish it.
Oh, that's what the sound is. This entire time I've been thinking it's the mic. It's the way Tom's speaking. That's what you're doing. I'm calling these guys out there like I'm telling you, it's not the mic. It's Tom. Okay. All right. So I'm relieved, Tom. Thank you for that. That 2-second F kind of.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the distraction. So we'll go back to what I said. I don't think Biden wants him down there taking pictures and doing things because now he's the president, so he has to bring the solution. They'll put it on him. That's not what he wants.
What do you think about it, Matt?
I'm from the perspective of my friend Craig Sawman Sawyer, who's a former Navy SEAL, and he's there at the border all day. He's seen a huge spike in people jumping the border, huge spike, and sadly, since his big thing too is also preventing human trafficking. Huge spike in human trafficking too as well. So it's more now than it was during when Trump was controlling the border. 100%.
He's saying it's more now than
than it was when Trump.
Why do you think that is?
Well, there's a lot of factors going into from my perspective of what my family had to do to get here from the Philippines. It was a recruitment into the nursing program for my mother to get here to say I'm going to be a nurse to be recruited into the United States. And then our other family members, there's a 5-year waiting period, 10-year waiting period for them to get here to the United States from the Philippines, versus people just come here to the border and because of these loosened policies to say, hey, we just come here, we'll campaign, we'll get across, find a way to get in here, kind of bully the way and kick down the gate, kick down the door. I don't know why it's getting to that point, but it's a huge influx of that, from a practicality standpoint.
Which would become Biden's problem because now he's the guy in the chair. Blame your predecessor, blame whoever you want, but now you're the guy in the chair. You got to fix it, right?
Yep.
Again, this is not going to go away. Meaning, I don't think even the liberal media is going to let him go with this without holding him accountable to it, because there are a lot of people in the liberal media who are Latinos and Latinas who are going to want to be seeing what's going on because their loyalty is to their community, and if they don't ask those questions about what's going on with their community, their own people are going to be like, how come you're not holding the president accountable?
I think it's a great point.
What do you think it took so long? I'm sorry, Tom.
No, I think that the media is not in lockstep with Biden. They really wanted him elected, but they're not in lockstep with him. There's a civil war inside.
You don't think so?
No way. I think there's a civil war inside the Democratic Party with Bernie over here, and I also think there's a civil war that's going on inside the media between the people that are being told to be lapdogs and be nice and the people that have got strong viewpoints and they want to see change, such as I have deep respect for just people of Hispanic descent that are in the media that are speaking up and want to see change and want to see great benefits come to these issues and don't just want to be a lapdog on a political party basis. I have deep respect for them, and they're going to speak up and they're going to make the stories out of it.
What do you think it took Biden this long to get an official press conference?
The whole thing with he doesn't know how to handle himself in public when they ask him questions. There was a couple times where you kind of like that was very weird. He was going and he's like, yeah. So am I talking too much? And then lady helped him. It's like, let me just ask my second question. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. So that was a little awkward. I don't know if you guys caught that or not. Very awkward. Another part was.
Do I need to go into more detail? Okay, I'll just stop right there.
Yeah, just stop right there. Yeah, that was a little awkward. And then there was another part where he was going off the card. Like one time he just read what was on the card. He just went like this. He's like, so what I think we need to do is da-da-da-da. And he looked down for 30 seconds just reading the card to answer the question. Okay. But then there was another part where he went speaking for 10 minutes. And it wasn't based off of a card. Where I was like, that seemed reasonable, what he just said right there. I actually was tracking with him, and he was giving stats and data and numbers, and here's what happened here. So I don't think he is where most people think he is. I don't think he is where most people think he is, where he is What's the word they use where, he can't remember.
Coherent?
Not coherent. There's another word, but
Cogent and lucid.
yeah. So I don't know if it's those words. That's a level above me with words, but I would say at a point where he can process issues and communicate with people. Now, why do I think he's not done a press conference for a while? I just don't. It's like, why does somebody play defense and make a player go left? Because they don't do well going left, right? You don't do well dribbling to the left. So you as the offensive player have to figure out a way to get what? To the area of strength, which is to the right. His strength is not public speaking at all. Joe Biden, I don't know how many trophies he won public speaking. It's not his strength. It's definitely not. So if that's not the case, you just have to have other people doing the talking for him and it not being him. That's my thoughts. So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.